Panthers win a wild one in Sunrise, set a franchise record despite no goaltending on either side.
You're Locked On Panthers, your daily podcast on the Florida Panthers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome into this Tuesday, November 18th edition of the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day. Thank you for making the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast your first listen of the day on North America's #1 sports podcasting network. I'm Armando Velez, the host of the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast. You can follow me on X at MondoMan12. That is Francisco Oporta, Florida Panthers historian, joining me on today's edition of the show. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app right now by visiting FanDuel.com to win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So, Florida Panther fans, grateful to be back here once again on another edition of the show to discuss everything in the world of the Florida Panthers. And I can't stop giggling from just the kind of game that we witnessed on Monday night between the Florida Panthers and the Vancouver Canucks. It was an 8-5 final score for these two teams as the Panthers came out victorious, won in regulation, and it was a game of runs where although the Panthers did dominate offensively as far as zone time, 2 goals by Canucks, 5 unanswered, 3 unanswered by Vancouver, and then 3 more unanswered by Florida. It was no back and forth consecutive goals. Once they got one, it was a big run. And the Vancouver Canucks doing it on 15 shots, but the Panthers facing up against a third goaltender in Jiri Patera for the Vancouver Canucks, and on a second end of a back-to-back, just find a way to win a wild one. And grateful to have you here, Francisco, because it was history that was made tonight where the Florida Panthers had 16 different point getters, including Sergei Bobrovsky, who had a secondary assist on the Seth Jones power play goal right before the end of the first. But what a wild one. And to think that the Panthers still put their foot on the gas even when they went down 2-0.
Right. And also Sergei Bobrovsky, 9th all-time in wins in goalies NHL history.
438, win number 438, passing Jacques Plante to get to 9th and can still get up to 6th by season's end tonight. And this was doing it in Jeff Petry's 1,000th game as well. And the Panthers were without Eetu Luostarinen, and Mackie Samoskevich went on the top line for the Panthers, and the Panthers were really, truly driving play. And the thing is, Francisco, even with the whole, I know pucks in deep is a big cliche when it comes to hockey players and how they answer interviews, but really this was how the Panthers truly won this game, with the amount of board battles won, faceoffs won in the O-zone as well, and just battling, and the amount of times that they found Jiri Patera out of position. You talk about the Evan Rodriguez goal set up by Sam Reinhart in the second period for the Panthers. The Luke Cunningham goal where Noah Gregor circles around Quinn Hughes of all people and finds some space, gets the puck in, and then Luke Cunningham gets his first. There was a whole bunch of firsts. Luke Cunningham first goal, Noah Gregor first point, Sergei Bobrovsky first point of the season, Uvis Balinskis, who was reinserted into the lineup for Donovan Zabrango, first point, secondary assist on one of the goals on the Sam Bennett shot pass from Nico Mikkola. It was an anomaly of a game, mind you, but an offensive barrage and no goaltending on either side.
Yeah, gosh, and you can see the disparity between the two teams because, kudos to Vancouver for not only playing on the second night of a back-to-back, by the way, but not letting the Panthers run away completely with this one throughout the game. Of course, they went up early, and the Panthers went on their massive comeback, scoring 5 unanswered goals there, and then Vancouver mounting their comeback, tie game. What is going on? Panthers score a touchdown, then put up the extra point, and then get the 2-point conversion at the end. Man, there's so much that you could talk about as far as great play from some guys. I do want to point out guys on the energy line for sure, because I think they're always unsung heroes along the season. And I pointed out AJ Greer.
Yes.
4 goals so far this season. In 19 games, his career high is 6 goals.
3 away.
And he's already at 4. Okay.
Mm.
And he's really stepped up in this early portion, this first quarter of the season, when the Panthers have needed bodies, and they were down a couple bodies in this game too. This game had everything.
Yeah, and AJ Greer scoring that goal. How big was that? With the 2 goals in just 4 minutes and 2 seconds for the Panthers there. And the career high that he set was in 2 consecutive seasons last year and the year before for AJ Greer. A big turnover in the neutral zone, a tic-tac-toe play where Sam Bennett draws 3 Canucks towards him, and it's just some quick passing there right before the trailer. AJ Greer was able to get that goal, and then just the fact that they were able to carry momentum. And let's not forget, Seth Jones drew not the goal that he scored. Quinn Hughes was not only in the box, but he was able to draw a delayed penalty call on Marcus Pettersson as well as if you're on the power play and you draw a penalty and you score, you still remain on the power play, just a different guy going to the box. But the 2 minutes starts over and carrying it over into the second period, although the Panthers didn't score on that power play, but also a little bit of comedy was provided there with Brad Marchand pointing to Quinn Hughes in the box and also stealing Quinn Hughes' stick, but also the fact that Elias Pettersson came alive after he struggled this season to score. He scored 2 of them on the night, including roofing one on Sergei Bobrovsky for his second. That was to make it 5-4. But just the fact that the Quinn Hughes, the first 3 goals that Vancouver scored, assisted by him, and then how quick he was able to get that puck down to the corner right before Sherwood set up Jake DePress towards the goal line, and the Panthers losing sight of him. But the Panthers, it was one where you're not quite impressed defensively with how this is played, but the fact that the Panthers had 7 different goal scorers and 16 different point getters, this is one where it's not in the norm for this team. But on a normal night when Quinn Hughes is scoring 3 points, you're most times on the losing side.
Yeah, throwback to the 2021-22 season. That's what we kind of looked at there. A game of rushes more than anything else. And hey, that 21-22 season was really fun.
It was
in the regular season, not so much in the playoffs.
Yeah, and the thing is that when the Vancouver Canucks were just so overwhelmed by the Panthers forecheck and all the flips out of the zone, once the Panthers defense were able to get the puck back, some of the stretch back, once the forwards were able to tag up and get back to the blue line, some of those stretch passes and then some space right before the Vancouver Canucks were able to close, they were able to still get in speed. And even when the Canucks were able to close in those gaps and the puck was a little separated, and they were still able to do their fair share of battles along the boards as well. And that was truly important for the Panthers on what they did there. And I mean, the fact is also different stretches of this game. You lose Mackie Samoskevich for a big stretch of this game after taking that shot from Gustav Forsling from the blue line. It was around the tricep area from what I saw. Probably a part where there was no padding. Cole Schwindt collides with Sergei Bobrovsky and doesn't even return, so you have to shuffle some lines. So it's also a credit to the coaching staff on what they were able to do, especially for a short period of time with 2 forwards out. And they were already without Eetu Luostarinen, who's day-to-day with a lower body injury.
Yeah. I was listening to Rod Peterson's podcast. He had a interview with Bill Lindsay, who was talking to Paul Maurice about the Panthers' defensive play, because we know the Panthers are a defensive-minded team, and that their defense is what eventually just drives their offense with that heavy game with the forecheck, and how much Paul Maurice has kind of laid off the players with regards to, finishing their checks and getting some hits there because of the fact that they're trying to get their legs back under them, that they're still recovering from all these deep playoff runs. And yet the Panthers in this game, it was a game of rushes, but they still played that same game. You still saw some hits. You saw a heavy forecheck. I mean, you saw the Vancouver Canucks. It seemed like the Panthers had the puck on their sticks for a lot of period of that time of that game. And the Canucks they hit their opportunities when they needed to, because they didn't have much. And they somehow got basically every other shot basically went in for them, but the Panthers still controlled most of that play. And when you saw them make that comeback in the first period to tie the game, you felt really good about it. Yes, and then they come out swinging in the second period, but you still felt really good that they had this game locked down for the most part there. So I felt really good about this game because ultimately, when they needed it most, their defense was able to put some things in. And the whistles went either way. It seemed like when one team was about to gain some momentum, a penalty came in to kind of kill that momentum towards the end. So, what a game. I'm sure the people that watched it live had a really good time.
Yeah, no doubt. And there was 39 minutes of 5-on-5 play in the game between the Panthers and the Lightning on Saturday. It was almost the same thing without the bad blood and the rivalry between these two teams. It was just very sloppy, and the Panthers were getting a whole bunch of those stick infractions as well. There's a reckless play by Nico Mikkola boarding Kiefer Sherwood, which also Kiefer Sherwood also boarded Brad Marchand a little later out of frustration and not forgetting from what happened earlier, trying to get a little bit of revenge there. But just the fact is that, hey, when there's a lot of speed and there's a lot of times where you're getting past someone in neutral zone where there's no where the gap's not closing, you're gonna fall behind, and then that's when your stick is going to be in the wrong place. So hey, you let the game come to you for as far as the officials case here when it comes to the both teams and when it comes to them going into the box. But we're going to transition to segment number 2, where we are going to discuss the 3 stars of the game and the moment where we knew the game was won. We'll discuss that next here on the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel, and the NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than on FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Right back here on this Tuesday, November 18th edition of the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast. Thank you once again for making the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast your first listen of the day. Armando Velez here with Francisco Oporta, Florida Panthers historian, discussing this Panthers 8-5 win against the Vancouver Canucks to get 2 regulation points. Once again, the Florida Panthers making franchise history with 16 different point getters. The only ones on the night who did not get a point were Mackie Samoskevich, Gustav Forsling, Jeff Petry, and Cole Schwindt. So everyone else got a point on the night. But it's a win for the Florida Panthers, which means that we are going to discuss our 3 stars of the game and the moment where we knew the game was won. So right now, okay, so 3rd star of the game for me, Sam Reinhart. 3 assists, 3 shots, led the forwards with blocks, had an outstanding setup to Evan Rodriguez on that board battle, right when the puck was near the end boards, and a beautiful setup from a cutting Seth Jones to make it more out of reach for the Panthers against the Canucks on this one. Just high hockey IQ there. Number 2 star for me, Anton Lundell. After the second period, he was 91% in faceoffs. It averaged out to 76 as the Canucks were starting to make a push, but consistently driving play and gaining the zone easily, dumping the puck when necessary. Anton Lundell, number 2 star. Number 1 star has to be Seth Jones for me. Now it's 4 power play goals for the Panthers defense, all of them coming on the power play. So no even strength point goals for the Panthers right now this season. But like you said, the defense is starting to drive play with how they're activating in the neutral zone and then also keeping pucks in with timely pinches. But at the same time, although Seth Jones and Mikkola kind of lost the Canucks there on the power play that allowed the Hronek goal to tie it at 5. He made it up with his offense. But Seth Jones is my number one star of the game.
Yeah, and he was the number one star of the game overall with everybody else too, with the press. So, I mean, as far as guys, I mean, I already pointed out AJ Greer. I'm just going to point him out again. I felt that fourth line, they just come to play, and definitely AJ Greer sparking the comeback, the initial comeback the Panthers were going for to start this game here. So that was great, especially because it came at a time where the Panthers, I mean, the Vancouver Canucks in that first period, they went like the first 12 minutes of that first period without a shot.
Yep.
And then lo and behold, they get one shot, and then the second shot goes in, and then they get another shot. And they have 2 goals and 4 shots, and it seemed like, it's going to be one of those games again. So, and then Greer scores his goal, then Seth Jones, and then it just started to snowball from there, and the Panthers were able to get this game back under control. So I've got him. It's funny you mentioned some of the guys that didn't put up a point, like Mackie Samoskevich, who did drive play.
Yes.
When you think about he 4 shots. He could have had a goal if not for an amazing save. But Oporta,
and drew a penalty on that.
That's what I was going to mention. He did draw a penalty on that play. So he's still driving play. He still has an eye for the nets, and you're starting to see him kind of blossom into a more offensive-minded player. Well, he's always been an offensive-minded player, but actually starting to put it together where you're going to see, like, man, this guy's he's going to start getting those things to the mesh there, and it's really going to drive the Panthers moving forward from here. And then, I mean, Seth Jones, I don't think you can deny him as far as the play and everything was concerned for today. And you kind of felt like he was playing well this season, obviously played well throughout the playoffs and helped the Panthers there. But it's nice to see him get rewarded. He had some rough seasons out in Chicago after signing that contract over there, and having his career kind of get revived here in Sunrise has really been a really nice thing to see. And you can see how much more comfortable he is with everybody there and everybody in the locker room. So I'm very happy for him. But yeah, the Panthers, a lot of guys I mean, their analytics is showing that, I mean, today was, I mean, their Fenwick percentage was like up, like pretty much every single Panthers player. You put up 41 shots, you're driving stuff to net, a lot of high danger chances too. And 8 goals.
Yeah, Fenwick percentage at 65, which means those are shots that are not getting blocked as well. So that's a big stat for the Panthers there, 65, and then Corsi was at 59%, 32-9 at 5-on-5, and they only had one high danger chance at 5-on-5 against the Tampa Bay Lightning. They had 12, so multiplying that by a lot there. So man, just you could give, if you name three other different players for the Panthers on what they on the Stars. I mean, you
could throw out Brad Marchand, who's always doing something to
short-handed empty netter.
Yeah, either distract some guys or draw some penalties. I mean, he does it all. And of course, he got another goal there, number 13 on the season, having one of the best starts to his career already at this end, and really filling up that hole that's left without guys like Barakov and Tkachuk so far this season.
10th goal in his last 10 games. What a run that Brad Marchand is on.
That's great, Brad Marchand.
Yes, yes. Let's not forget that. But the moment where we knew the game was won, it's funny because you could choose any. And then you think about how the Panthers were controlling play, but then you think about how head scratching and how much it took our breath away whenever when Sergei Bobrovsky wasn't able to glove the play right before Drew O'Connor scored, and then the Panthers were able to respond quickly, like you mentioned. But the moment for me, I have to go with the shot pass, the shot pass from Niko Mikkola to Sam Bennett. I had a feeling the Panthers were going to go there, but this is the thing: when you think about when that goal was. You think about 2 straight goals for Vancouver, But then it's 48 seconds when the Panthers respond there. It's like you're not getting anything on this night. But the thing is also you could argue the same thing for AJ Greer's goal that was responded 36 seconds after. It was just quick responses for the Panthers. But for me, I'm gonna go with the Sam Bennett goal that was shot past by Nico Mikkola.
Yeah, I mean, I did tell you that I felt good when AJ Greer's goal came in because it felt like if they hadn't been able to respond in that first period, you felt like that was going to be one of those games where the Panthers are going to just drive play the entire game but not find the back of the net, which has happened before. And them putting that up and then Seth Jones getting his goal and then having that snowball into a power play to enter the second period, it felt like can't say it was the game that was won, but it felt like they had enough control and you felt good going through the rest of the game with Vancouver on the second of a back-to-back. But it just didn't feel that way with regards to the way Vancouver played tonight. So you gotta kudos to them. Yeah, I guess I could say the same one for you, and I can kind of agree with that one too. It just seems like it was 5-5 at one point. So you're like, okay, I guess the sixth goal is the one that felt like the game was won, but it still didn't feel that way. I mean, during the broadcast, when they put up 7, Goldie was like, is it too early to say that they got this game so far? And it's like, well, you kind of felt like, I don't know. It's a barn burner already.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it still didn't feel that way. Vancouver pulled their goaltender when they had a power play, and then they it just didn't feel secured yet, even at 7.
Yeah, so it's just the fact that you see the shot disparity at one point it was triple. It was like 23-7 at one point. So you looking at that, it's just like, man, the Panthers are just on top of their game, but just little lapses that just made it a lot closer than it should have. But hey, the Panthers scoring on that empty net as well, and getting a second power play goal by Seth Jones. Maybe we could actually say that it was that the 3-goal deficit was exactly how the Panthers truly dominated there. But just if you're watching this podcast 3 years from now, make sure you actually look at the highlights to see how many times this game was actually tied there, if you happen to stop by here. But we're going to transition to segment number 3, where we're going to discuss a little bit. We're going to discuss to see whether we have an injury update on Cole Schwindt, and also we are going to discuss from how the Panthers, although this was an anomaly of a game, we have seen these offensive outbursts from the Panthers recently. Are the analytics actually catching up to the Panthers as far as the expected goals and everything? We'll discuss that next here on the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Rue Giet. And let's be real, making excuses doesn't solve anything. We've all heard them before. It's just stress, I'm tired, or happens to everyone sometimes. But when it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little extra support. And that's where Rougiette comes in. Rougiette.com offers fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatments for ED designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. Rougiette makes it get started easy. Just connect with a board-certified doctor, 100% online, no awkward waiting rooms, and no in-person appointments. It prescribes your treatment, ships discreetly straight to your door. The process is fast, simple, and private. It's all handled by real doctors. It's about confidence, connection, and getting back to the moments that matter. Visit rugiet.com/LockedOnNHL to get 15% off of your order. That's rugiet.com/LockedOnNHL. And don't forget to use our code LockedOnNHL so they know we sent you. Rougiette, stop making excuses and start making moves. Third and final segment here on this Tuesday, November 18th edition of the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast. Thank you once again for making the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast your first listen of the day. And Armando Velez here with Francisco Oporta to continue discussing this 8-5 win for the Florida Panthers over the Vancouver Canucks from Sunrise, Florida. And we don't have good news when it comes to Cole Schwindt and what happened with that collision. Immediately went to the locker room, and this is tweeted by Jameson Olive as of 10:10 in the evening. We're recording this just 35 minutes after that tweet. But per Paul Maurice, Cole Schwindt will see a doctor on Wednesday, and it's not expected to be a short-term thing. So looked upper body, looked like his arm or wrist went into a certain direction. You know, your sticker's right here. You're not seeing the goaltender, and it might go in a certain place. But Cole Schwindt, who had a big goal against Vegas just a few weeks ago, had a second one just a few as well. And it's been great to see him back with the Panthers after him being part of the Tkachuk trade. Unfortunately, the Panthers, the injury bug continues to get him, and there was another scare. Thankfully, Mackie Samoskevich was able to come back, but yeah, it's another one of the add to the injury list for the Panthers here.
Yeah, I'm re-looking at this collision here, and it not only was the collision itself, because he kind of runs into Bobrovsky like this. I'm kind of looking at it right now, towards his arm, and I think the way he landed didn't help either. I think he landed on his arm as well. So it seems like it has something to do with, like I said, upper body injury. I just add another one to the list, I guess, at this point. Guys are just dropping like flies, and I mean, what can you do? And well, this one's not based on any wear and tear from last season because Cole Schwindt's a new guy, not part of our playoff runs, but still, it looked like a great pickup in this season, getting Cole Schwindt and putting up 2 goals already, and it's just unfortunate. You could see how much he's just gelling with the guys on the bench and everything like that. So, especially when Marchand got his 1,000th point, and you see Cole Schwindt next to him on the bench, and just like so happy for him. So, it's man, just we're adding another guy to the list. So, what can we do?
All the best, but. Yeah. But let's continue the discussion about what we teased prior to this segment. But every Sunday, JFresh Hockey likes to post their analytics charts to see like expected goals for, expected goals against for each team. The Panthers were towards the top towards expected goals, and then expected goal differential. But then you see what the Panthers have just been able to do just in these last few weeks. I mean, thankfully led by Brad Marchand, but then you see the ups and downs on sometimes they'll get 1 goal, which you saw how many high danger chances they had in San Jose. And then you see an offensive barrage in LA just recently against the Washington Capitals, the best 5-on-5 defensive team at the time. And then not showing up against Tampa. And then this with this game on Monday. And it's so crazy that I just don't know how to put my finger on everything when you talk about how the Panthers have been able to go be so offensively sound one night, but then so dry another.
I mean, I just think it's just been mainly about. I mean, they've been keeping the philosophy of their game as sound as possible with regards to defensive-minded play,
which is great.
And I mean, I posted a couple of things before, but they were at one point top 5 in the NHL in expected goal percentage in Corsi and Fenwick. So the Panthers are still analytically sound with like the analytics are backing up the way that they've been playing. It's just either, I mean, you're either getting goalied one game, which happened, or your shots are you're just not finishing. Because there was one game in particular, I'm trying to remember which one, where the Panthers had lots of opportunities and just couldn't finish in the back of the net. So there's that. But then when they are finishing, you're starting to see games like this with Washington, the game against Vegas, the game tonight. So who knows? I honestly think that the Panthers are not letting it get to their heads. They know they're down, guys. They know they're down two incredibly offensive players in Barkov and Tkachuk, and they're still finding ways to drive play to keep it to their game, and throwing shots at the net at high danger chances and minimizing risk. Remember, the Panthers are all about minimizing risk with regards to their outlet passes and things like that. So they keep it along the boards, not throwing things towards the middle of the net. So they're still finding ways to do that. I still think a few guys are still due for, especially like Carter Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe is very much due for some goals here. And you can see he's close. He's almost there. He's almost there. Once he gets one, it'll start flowing from there. So you'll see it. But you got Marchand, you got Reinhart. Those guys are lifting these guys up for right now. But you can see it starting to buzz a little bit for Sam Bennett as well. And Verhaeghe, once it falls, I think you'll see the Panthers start to really roll once he starts going.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned the Vegas game because they're up 2-0 right before the third period, and that's when they were able to really truly play a shutdown style. Although it was a big shot differential in that third period in that one, but the Panthers, it's a matter of winning games of all of different kinds. About when and listen, the fact that they went into a third period with a lead this time around. And although those goals were quick, that truly was a factor. The fact that you still had a little bit of confidence in your game and what you're doing, and the fact that these 20 games and the ability to, like you said, minimize risk has truly helped whenever a certain situation. And you see, a forward and a defenseman are battling along the half walls, and you see a puck spring free quickly. The defense know that it's a quick decision instead of a hesitation as well. So that's all, so that they could continue to get the puck deep, and allowing if it's a rim around and the other forward is seeing that it's coming, that you have to act fast in order to still continue to battle along there. And who knows what that can draw and leave that the opposition spread out, so that could create more of those high danger chances.
Yeah, I mean, you saw it in the Lightning game as well. The Panthers are trying to play their game. It's just unfortunate that some goals went in compared to the other one, but I still think they played an overall good game. I think that could have gone the other way if a certain call wasn't made, or just things kind of bounced the other way. So, and I even pointed out, of course, PDO, people look at that as well, and how the Panthers have been not completely unlucky with regards to the puck luck, but slightly below league average, kind of right there. So at some point, that should start to turn the other way, and you're going to see stuff fall in. So that should even out eventually as well. And we're still waiting for the eventual return of Tkachuk, which is going to be a huge spark for them.
Which it's hard to read with Sergei Bobrovsky's save percentage. He came into this one at an 892, and tonight's save percentage was a 6.67. So the PDO is not going to tell necessarily the whole story of the Panthers of where they're at. So maybe more games to see more of a sample size. I mean, 20. We're at the quarter mark of the season, so maybe some more low scoring games will help average it out a little bit more. And the Panthers were in the middle of the pack when it came to PDO. At least the last time I checked, they were around that maybe towards the lower there. So hopefully we see more of, not necessarily more of these 8-goal games, because it's hard to break down everything and discuss every single play. But hopefully we see more of the Panthers and a little bit of the easing of our minds as fans and consumers of this Florida Panthers team. That's what I'm hoping, at least, that we could see them do this, at least that part. But Francisco, I want to thank you so much for joining me on this edition of the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast. A successful night as the Panthers get 2 points. That's really what matters there. But tell everybody where they can follow you online, my friend.
Yep. at FLA Cats History. So you can find me there on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. I'm trying to do some stuff on TikTok. That's SoFla Sports History. It's not just the Panthers. It's also the Marlins and the Heat and the Dolphins and some Inter Miami here and there. So I'm trying to do that on the TikTok. You know, how do you, fellow kids, 6'7", whatever. So I'm on there too. I'm actually we're starting to creep, getting closer and closer to the Winter Classic, and you know I'm really up for that, especially me being Marlins historian, Panthers historian. Roberto Luongo already teasing it. Posted a picture of his pads. There's some throwbacks towards his original stint with the Florida Panthers, so it might be a little bit of a tease for what they might wear. It could be a modern remake of that era with the Leaping Panther breaking stick. I'm not sure. We haven't really gotten anything so far, so I have no idea where they're going to go with it. I don't know how much they're going to draw from the Tropical Hockey League, from actual Panthers history, whether they'll sprinkle in some references to the Dolphins or the Hurricanes or the Heat or the Marlins. I'm not sure. So they've really kept it up under wraps, and there hasn't been a leak so far.
Nope.
And neither for the New York Rangers either. And the Rangers already popped out with the 100th anniversary jersey. So I'm not sure where they're going to go with this one, but I'm really excited about it. And, you know, the moment that those things pop out, I'm getting one for myself. That's for sure.
Yep. And we'll have you on the show to preview it. No doubt about it. But thank you so much, as always, Francisco. And I will see you very soon. And if you like what you're hearing, please subscribe to the podcast to be notified every single time the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast jumps into your podcast feed. Don't forget to also subscribe to the other shows on the Locked On NHL network, including Locked On NHL, Locked On Fantasy Hockey, Flip Livingstone and Stu Roden, and Locked On NHL Prospects. Thank you once again for making the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast your first listen of the day. So I'm Armando Velez with Francisco Oporta. And you've been listening to Locked On Florida Panthers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We're your team every day.